Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and it took me a while to get back to my computer today. I have a little piece of land where we go and we camp out and do things like that. And so I was down trying to get things in order so that we could go down there and take people down there and whatnot. So I've been down there, and I have an electric golf cart that we ride around the land. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, I was down there working on that, and I'm kind of tired. So I am drinking my cup of coffee right now, and so that I can do this video, because I'm kind of worn out, to be honest. But don't worry, that's what my coffee's for. I drink it all hours of the day as necessary. Michelle Vandenberg sent me this. I thought this was an interesting little chart. Today is worse than the dot-com bubble. That's S&P growth versus value. And it's looking at what it looked like during the dot-com boom versus today. This is what happens when you artificially inflate all of the stocks in the S&P 500 by central banks printing money for over 10 years, if not longer. Now, this tweet was interesting. I saw this today. It's an older tweet, and I don't see, let me see if I can see when it's from. I don't see when it's from, but we know that Dilip Rao does not work at Ripple anymore, so it's from a long time ago. And this guy is saying it was awesome catching up with Dilip Rao at Ripple and discussing TradeFinex.org. So I went and decided to look at TradeFinex. Now, this is what they say about what they do. Trade finance global, trade finance without barriers. They're the leading trade finance platform. We assist companies to access trade and receivables financing facilities through our relationships with 270 plus banks, funds, and alternative finance houses. And what caught my eye was when I saw the shipping containers. I mean, this is pretty much, when you think trade finance, you think these shipping containers and all that. But for those of you especially that have not been around for a while, R3, through the partnership, Jeannie had tweeted this out today. The combination of R3 and Ripple will allow for seamless functioning of this new financial system. SBI will be the umbrella which unties them as one. Tie it all in with what Polysign, Flare, Interledger, Hyperledger, Mojaloop, and Paystring are building. Nothing can stop, is what I think he meant, XRP from claiming the #1 spot. You'll see trade finance right here, derivatives, syndicated loan, cross-border. This is from an old slide. I want to say it was an SBI slide, because they are the largest outside holders of R3 and Ripple. And for those of you who weren't around and haven't seen these videos, this is Chris Larson early on, and he was the first person that I saw use the shipping container explanation of what Ripple has been working on. Watch this.
And then along comes a super simple technology, the shipping container, just a metal box, and boom, suddenly every port in the world, every city is interoperable to every other city. Every ship interoperates with every train and every truck, every warehouse. Totally changed the way the world works. By the way, it costs now 4 cents to move a shirt all the way across the world from, say, Vietnam, China to the US, 4 cents. That's incredible. And importantly, this was not because of the invention of a new shipping company. It was the invention of a simple standard, a simple box, a simple technology that everybody could use, that was endlessly scalable, and that was simple enough for people to agree on. It led to completely different shipping companies that the world has never seen before. And it led to a complete transformation of ports and the way cities operated, mostly run by robots, not by people. So it changed everything, about a 700% increase since the 1950s in global trade because of it. That's a huge win. We all know what happened with data. Sometime after the shipping container, along comes another standard, IP. Before that, of course, we had a world of different networks that didn't interoperate with each other. It was hard to communicate. It was expensive to communicate. A lot of people were cut out. And then, of course, along comes IP, a very simple standard that the whole world could get together around. And boom, now 3 billion plus people are communicating basically for free, to anybody with a single address. So totally a game changer. About 20% increase in GDP over the last 5 years because of it. Again, this was not because of a new communications company. This was because of a simple standard IP that everybody could get around, but of course led to fantastically new communication companies. We now know trillion-dollar communication companies, and completely changed the way the world works. Okay, so 2 of those are complete, but of course, money is not. Money has not had its shipping container moment. It's still stuck in the 70s or maybe before, and that is really holding back the world, right?
So, and then back then, it was in 2018, Dan Moorhead, who's a venture capitalist and also an investor in Ripple, he had quoted this in a tweet, and he said, making a great analogy, money hasn't had its shipping container moment. I believe we're close to the shipping container moment. Now, this tweet right here, the Bank of England said increasing institutional interest in cryptocurrencies may spill over into the mainstream markets. That goes in the you think file. That's where I would put that one. Okay, Barry Silbert had tweeted this out. Now, this is interesting. Grayscale Investments forges agreement with BNY Mellon to provide asset servicing and ETF services for Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. So this is a flashing sign to me that we might be headed towards getting our first crypto ETF. Remember, I've told you for a long time on this channel, we've been watching all of these players, VanEck, we've seen all these different companies apply for Bitcoin ETFs left and right. They've been rejected left and right. And I told you for the last 2 years, it's not going to happen. They're not going to get an ETF until the big boys get the ETF. And I said this, I've said it many times. I used Goldman as an example, but BNY Mellon would be big enough. It's when these people have the custody, they're just now get it done with the custody. They've got the custody ready, and we know it now, and I'll remind you here in a second. Now that they've got the custody ready, they're not handing that first ETF off to some jackleg company. They're handing it to a Goldman, or maybe a BNY Mellon, or a Citigroup, or a Morgan Stanley, or a JP Morgan. Those are the ones they're handing it off to, and that they're going to be the ones that get to be the first through the door. Now, they may do it in partnership with a Grayscale. Who knows? Maybe that's how they do it. But they'll be involved. You can write that down, stamp it on your forehead. And now that, as long as we're talking about BNY Mellon, there are no coincidences. Just a few days ago, Standard Custody, which is owned by Polysign, that is Polysign, Standard Custody decided it was time to proudly talk about how Tim Keeney is a veteran of BNY Mellon, and he's one of their guys, okay? That means BNY Mellon is ready. Polysign is ready. Looks like ETFs are ready. The writing's on the wall, folks. Now, right here, this is interesting too. In the middle of all of that, this tweet came out today regarding distribution and preparations for launch. We will put out an update in the next 7 days. That's the CEO of Flare, and he's talking about the Flare networks. Okay, now I want to show you another tweet that came out today. Now, I don't know if these two are, that's FTSO AU, and this is FTSO.EU. So I don't know how they're related or anything like that. But this tweet also came out. Imminent updates from Flare in the next 7 days with a big surprise coming. Read the full interview. And then I went to here. This is it was Hugo Filion in a AMA type deal. Wonder when Flare will be airdropped. Regarding distribution and preparations for launch, we will put out an update in the next 7 days. Risk management, better to make sure the network and all systems are running well before asking for liquidity to be pushed through it. See our announcement coming in the next week for more clarity on launch and how we are trying to make the system as robust as possible. Now, as far as the big surprise, I don't know what they're referencing there, but here's what I'll say. The two biggest surprises that we could get, the one that I think is likely is that they're going to announce that there's going to be an FBTC, because for some reason that one has been, we haven't heard anything like that. Now, but the biggest surprise they could give us, the most important surprise they could give us, the best surprise they could give any of you listening to my voice that are living in the United States at least, is that we're going to drop this, we're going to do this airdrop all at once. From a financial perspective, that is the big surprise that they could give you that would be better than any big surprise there is. And they know this, I know this, David Schwartz knows it, and even some of the Flare police out there in social media know that. Or I don't know if they're Flare police, but they seem to be all about Flare. But everybody knows it. It's the 100% up front. Everybody wins. Everybody. And I hope that that's what the big surprise is. Even if it's not, though, I wish Flare all the luck in the world, and I hope that it is as successful as possible for all of our sakes, for my sake, for your sake, for Flare's sake. I hope they do really well, and I think they will do really well. But I really hope they drop it all up front. I hope they change their mind on that. Crypto Dim. These are too funny. Someone has gone to Cameo. I may as well play a little bit of it for you. Someone went to Cameo, and this is the guy that was on Ghostbusters. I'll just play it. Why not?
Gary and Jay. Hi, this is Ernie Hudson. Winston Zedmore from Ghostbusters, from Oz, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, The Crow, Grace and Frankie, Congo. Anyway, just to name a few film and TV shows. I have a message for you from Brad and Chris. The message is, Brad and Chris, they want you to know the message from Jay was received. They're still a bit salty that you sued them on your last day of your tenure, but they wanted you to know that you're forgiven. They want to extend an olive branch to Gary at the SEC for settlement. It would be best for the world if the USA decided to use XRP, and the Ripple team is willing to help that process. It's important. Anything Ripple does should not negatively impact citizens who own XRP. And a parting message, get your moon boots on, Gary. The USA is going to the moon.
Whoever did that is one hilarious dude or lady. Now, in further things where the SEC is completely being made a joke out of, XRP, the Standard Productions, put Ripple to the future, and they put together a spoof on Ripple and the SEC and the XRP community, and it's just what I find so hilarious about this. Not only you should definitely follow XRP Production. He does a parody Twitter feed, but he's just a hilarious guy. And it's a definite follow, and I highly recommend that you do follow this guy. Just so funny, but it's funny to me that this whole thing, because of the way it's happened, SEC is becoming the laughing stock, and unless they hold some of these people accountable and make them answer some real questions, they'll continue to be a laughing stock, or until they drop this thing, they're going to be a laughing stock, because the people who pay your salaries do not understand what in the world, it doesn't make any sense. And until it makes sense, you're going to be laughed at. I mean, it's just the way it is. It doesn't make any sense, and everybody there knows it doesn't make any sense. And that's why people are making all these spoofs and parodies and all that. It's a joke. XRP Bart. And here's part of the joke. All right, so we remember, Bill Hinman walked to the podium in June 2018. He said that he was not speaking on behalf of the SEC. It was purely his personal opinion. Now, what we don't know is, why did he feel the need to walk to the podium to tell everybody his opinion on Ethereum not being a security? Who was he doing that for? Who asked him to do it? Did he just wake up one morning and say, I think I'll walk to the podium and tell everybody that this isn't the SEC talking, but me, I'll put my butt on the line, and I'll say, yeah, hey, in my opinion, Ethereum's not a security. Or was he trying to send a signal to the markets? That's the real question. Was he trying to send a signal to the markets? And if he was, why was he? Who told him to send a signal? Because it doesn't take a genius. My 9-year-old could figure this one out. The guy, it's not like we've never accused the guy of being dumb. It's not like the guy walks to the podium not knowing that when he says this, it's going to affect the market. So what was his incentive to walk to that microphone? Why did he do it? Well, so here's the next question, because I just found this article this morning. He said it wasn't his official position. Then the chairman of the SEC came out. Chair Clayton affirms agency's stance on Ether. Okay, and these are so he basically, this is an article from May 12th of 2019. So the next year he comes out and basically comes out in public and affirms that that's the SEC's, or at least that's. He says, I agree with Director Hinman. No longer represents an investment contract. But then I can't remember. Let's see. Did he say? He wrote a letter dated March 7th, adding he agrees with Hinman's. So now, does that mean that it is an official statement by the SEC? That's the chairman saying it. Okay. But the fact that everybody out here has to be left scratching their head wondering if that's now the official position of the SEC, that right there's the problem. Okay? And then I texted this and I said, if they're going to podiums and saying it's not the SEC talking, why are we taxpayers paying for this guy to go to a conference to tell them his opinion? He's working for us. If he's working for us, he's working in his capacity at the SEC. Why is he going to a microphone to tell people who gives a crap about his personal opinion? People care about what they're paying him to do. The job they're paying him to do is to work on behalf of the SEC and represent them and represent them well and represent the country. And meanwhile, he's out there playing games. I'm not speaking on behalf of them. I'm just telling you my opinion on something that should be officially announced by the SEC. I'm going to give you my opinion and in turn influence the markets. Well, speaking of Hinman, today, James Phelan, breaking, court schedules telephone conference for July 15th, 2021 at 3 p.m. to discuss the SEC's motion to quash the deposition of William Hinman. The court will provide dial-in information for the public in advance of the conference. And then Jeremy Hogan weighed in. My quick take on the scheduling of the conference on fully briefed motion is that it is bad for Ripple. If she was satisfied by the briefing, she would have simply ordered the deposition to take place. She might need more from Ripple if she is to order deposition. We'll see. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that the SEC and the judge and Ripple are having a conference call on William Hinman in 2 days. And that should be interesting.